Hello everyone. So we with the carbohydrate metabolism we have completed almost all the topics. Now today we go with the fructose metabolism. So fructose metabolism and the clinical importance of that fructose metabolism, that is sorbitol polyol pathway. So this pathway is very important and formation of cataract and fructose in the eyes. So let's see about the fructose metabolism, that is with and sorbitol pathway or polyol pathway. So fructose. Now the dietary sources of fructose are fruit juices, honey, and sucrose is the main source of energy, main source for the fructose. And the site of fructose metabolism is liver. We have seen that after the digestion, glucose, galactose, and fructose, they are absorbed, and glucose goes to the cells for the energy purpose, and fructose and galactose both come to the liver, and there they are metabolized. So fructose is metabolized in liver. Now we see the reactions for fructose metabolism. The pathway, the first, fructose is phosphorylated to form fructose 6 phosphate. So in the first step, fructose gets phosphorylated, or by utilizing 1 ATP it is converted into fructose 6 phosphate. This fructose 1 phosphate, then conversion of fructose 1 phosphate, this fructose 6 phosphate is then converted to fructose 1 phosphate, and fructose 1 phosphate is then converted to glyceraldehyde. This glyceraldehyde now enters the glycolytic pathway, but there are three possible mechanism for the glyceraldehyde movement. So one mechanism is that the glyceraldehyde is converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate. The second is the glyceraldehyde is converted into 2-phosphoglycerate, and the third one is glyceraldehyde is converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So the conversion of fructose 1 phosphate to fructose 1,6 biphosphate. After this glyceraldehyde is converted into fructose, then the fructose 1 phosphate, this is converted into fructose 1,6 biphosphate. So let's see the part. So see here, from the diet, after the absorption, fructose comes to the liver. This fructose is now converted to fructose 1 phosphate in the presence of enzyme fructokinase or hexokinase. In fructose 1 phosphate is then converted to glyceraldehyde in presence of aldolase B enzyme, or it produces dihydroxyacetone phosphate. This glyceraldehyde, so the fructose 1 phosphate has 6 carbons, so they are divided into 3 carbons, and the phosphate comes with dihydroxyacetone. This dihydroxyacetone then is also synthesized from the glycolysis. The same way, glyceraldehyde now has 3 pathways. One, it may synthesize triacyl glycerol with the synthesis of glycerol and glycerol 3 phosphate, and gets finally converted into triacyl glycerol. The second pathway, in presence of thiokinase enzyme, this glyceraldehyde is converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Now this glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate will synthesize pyruvate, or it enters glycolysis. From pyruvate it will synthesize acetyl coenzyme A will synthesize, or TCA cycle will run, or it may synthesize fatty acid and cholesterol. So it may enter glycolysis. The third pathway is that this glyceraldehyde may be converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and gets converted into fructose 1,6 biphosphate by aldolase A and aldolase B enzyme. Then it fructose 6 phosphate, or you can say by gluconeogenesis it is converted to glucose. Glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate may be converted to glucose by the pathway gluconeogenesis, and this glucose is then converted to glycogen, and the pathway is known as glycogenesis. So there are 3 options. First, glyceraldehyde may be converted into triacyl glycerol, or glyceraldehyde may be converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. With gluconeogenesis it will synthesize glucose, and then glycogenesis it will synthesize glycogen, or with glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate will run a glycolysis and enter glycolysis and produce pyruvate and then acetyl coenzyme A, and That acetyl may be useful for fatty acid synthesis, cholesterol synthesis, and so on. So this glyceraldehyde is in this way converted into or may run three pathways, and fructose is converted to fructose 1-phosphate in presence of fructose kinase, and aldolase B and dihydroxyacetone is formed. This dihydroxyacetone is also an intermediate in the glycolysis, and it is also an intermediate in fructose metabolism. Now we see the clinical significance. The clinical significance of fructose is very important. The first clinical importance is the sorbitol pathway of fructose metabolism. So fructose metabolized to form or synthesize, fructose is synthesized by a pathway which is known as sorbitol pathway. This sorbitol pathway is responsible for the conversion of glucose to fructose in seminal vesicles and sperm cells. So for the sperm cells, the source of energy is only fructose, not the glucose over there. So in seminal vesicle, this fructose is very important. So this glucose is converted to fructose in these seminal vesicles and sperm cells. The dietary sorbitol, that is the sweetening agent sugar free, is converted to fructose in the presence of sorbitol dehydrogenase enzyme in liver. This sorbitol is converted into fructose in presence of sorbitol dehydrogenase enzyme. This takes place in liver. Thus, sorbitol in the form of fructose can enter glycolytic or gluconeogenesis pathway. So we have seen this fructose enters glycolytic pathway when it converts into glyceraldehyde, and it is converted in that glyceraldehyde may run gluconeogenesis or it may run glycolysis. Now sorbitol or polyol pathway of fructose metabolism. In seminal fluid, which is very rich in fructose, for that seminal vesicles or in some sperms, this fructose is the principal and major energy source for spermatozoa. It is formed from glucose in the seminal vesicles. The fructose concentration in semen may reach 10 millimeter mm, and most of this is available for the sperms as fructose is used sparingly by other tissues that come in contact with the seminal fluid. Metabolic pathways which involve are synthesis of fructose from sorbitol. It is how first the glucose is reduced. So on reduction of the glucose synthesizes sorbitol. It is the alcohol of glucose. And this sorbitol is then dehydrogenated to form fructose. So see, first it is reduction and then it is oxidation. So in the reduction, then glucose takes 2 hydrogen and gets converted into alcohol, that is known as sorbitol, in presence of aldose reductase enzyme. This sorbitol now gives away the 2 hydrogen, and in presence of sorbitol dehydrogenase it is converted into fructose. Here the NADPH, the donor of hydrogen are NADPH, whereas the acceptor of hydrogen is NAD. The sorbitol pathway involves conversion of glucose to fructose by sorbitol. We have seen that is glucitol. That glucose, first step, aldose reductase, glucose is converted to sorbitol. In many tissues like lens, retina, renal cells, sperms, seminal vesicles, placenta, Schwann cells of peripheral nerves, and all this synthesize sorbitol from glucose. Then this sorbitol then gets oxidized to fructose in presence of enzyme sorbitol dehydrogenase, which is present in hepatic, sperm and seminal vesicle cells. Now the second significance of fructose metabolism, that is sorbitol metabolism in diabetes mellitus. In diabetes mellitus, this sorbitol metabolism plays an important role. How? See, formation of sorbitol from glucose proceeds rapidly in the lens of the eyes and Schwann cells of the nervous system. This sorbitol cannot pass through the cell membrane, and in diabetic individual, as the rate of oxidation of sorbitol to fructose decreases, the sorbitol level in these cells greatly increases. So the oxidation is reduced, rate of oxidation from sorbitol to fructose is reduced. So this sorbitol gets converted, or level of sorbitol is increased. This elevated sorbitol concentration in these cells increase the osmotic pressure, which may be responsible for the development of cataract of lens of the eye and diabetic neuropathy. In chronic hyperglycemia, that is uncontrolled diabetes mellitus, large amount of glucose enters retinal cells, renal cells, Schwann cells and of peripheral nervous, and eye lens, etc., which are insulin dependent for glucose uptake. Here large amount of sorbitol is produced by reduction of this intracellular glucose in the presence of enzyme aldose reductase. This sorbitol thus produced cannot be metabolized to fructose due to the absence of enzyme sorbitol dehydrogenase. And this sorbitol freely cannot cross the cell membrane and hence accumulates in these cells where it is produced. Due to hydrophilic nature, it causes strong osmotic effect and thus increase the osmotic pressure of intracellular fluid and resulting in the swelling of the cells and impairment of the cellular function, and results in cataract formation, retinopathy, nephropathy, peripheral neuropathy, and these are the complications which are seen later in chronic uncontrolled diabetes mellitus patients. Now the clinical next significance, that is third, is effect of excessive fructose in lipid metabolism. So fructose is more rapidly metabolized by liver than glucose as it bypasses the step of glucose metabolism catalyzed by phosphofructokinase 1, at which the metabolic control is exerted on the rate of glucose oxidation. This allows fructose to flood the pathway in the liver, leading to enhanced fatty acid synthesis, increased esterification and VLDL secretion, which increases serum TG level. So in this way, excessive fructose may lead to the lipid synthesis, that is TG synthesis and VLDL synthesis. So indirectly it may lead to atherosclerosis. Liver cell necrosis now. Fructose when used parenterally for nutrition can cause depletion of adenine nucleotides in liver and can cause liver cell necrosis. This may cause liver cell necrosis. Now the fifth clinical significance, that is sorbitol intolerance. When the sorbitol is administered IV, it is converted to fructose rather than to glucose. Although if given by mouth, much escapes absorption from the gut and is fermented in the colon by intestinal bacteria to produce such as acetate and hydrogen. Abdominal pain may be caused by sugar-free sweeteners containing sorbitol. So this is known as sorbitol intolerance. The unabsorbed dietary sorbitol causes abdominal pain, which is fermentation in colon. This condition is known as sorbitol intolerance. Then the sixth is inherited disorder, that is known as hereditary fructose intolerance. This hereditary fructose intolerance is due to deficiency of enzyme aldolase 1 deficiency, and administration of fructose in these patients may lead to excessive and prolonged rise of fructose increase, and fructose 1-phosphate increases in blood. Blood glucose falls, that is hypoglycemia is there because of nausea and vomiting and profuse sweating. After cessation of symptoms, it may be slight icterus, albuminuria and aminoaciduria. There is rapid decrease in serum inorganic phosphates, which is attributed to binding of phosphate with fructose. And the causes of hypoglycemia is excessive insulin secretion and inhibition of phosphoglucomutase by fructose 1-phosphate. Thank you very much. I hope you understood. So please like, share and subscribe my channel so that you can get the notification for the next video. Thank you.